Hello, thank you very much anyone who watched my video on the race Ultra Trail Drakensberg. A few of you have asked for my equipment, what I used. So I'm going to go through it in this video. Hopefully it's not super long. I'm just going to start off by going through the list, which, as you can see, I'm a little bit geeky. It's all written up in my book. Now, in these races, you have mandatory equipment and then equipment that somehow I quite like to take. On the mandatory equipment list, there was thermal top, thermal legs, waterproof jacket, waterproof pants, race vest, gloves, buff, beanie, cap. So you need a buff beanie and a cap for this race. It was crazy, but we had to have it. 2 Ziploc bags, never used them. A cup, a whistle, a blanket, phone, GPS watch, headlamp plus spare batteries, and some food. That was it. Some weird items there, the 3 that I mentioned, but very straightforward equipment list. On top of that, which I always laugh because shoes were not mandatory, nor were socks, nor were underpants or a shirt. But that's okay. I had, in addition, race belt, shorts and undershorts, shoes, shirt, sunglasses, and my poles. So I'm going to show you what I used, what they look like. I'm not going to put any links down below. You need to listen, write it down, because if we put links, it takes for ages, and I'm over it. So this is what I had when it came to it. My race pack, this is a Solomon race pack, which is about 4 years old, and I think it's a 5-litre race pack. I've done some slight modifications on this where I've actually put lock laces across the breast fasteners. I just feel that it gives me a little bit more elastic and they're a lot better. On the newer ones, you might not need to do that. However, super easy to use. I don't use the bladder. I just use 2 500ml flasks up front. And then I have a fully zip pocket on one side and a looser pocket, more open pocket on the other side, which is super easy. Everything I need from checkpoint to checkpoint can fit in there and is really easy to access, which number one thing that you want in your race vest is things are easy to access and you're not constantly trying to take it off and put it back on. So for example, this wide open pocket here, I actually stuffed my rain jacket in there because it was gonna rain on and off. Took it off after about 5 minutes, never wore it for the rest of the day, but super easy access as well. And then in this little pocket here, my GoPro. Was GoPro on the list? GoPro Hero 9, I think is what I'm on. That's what I shot all the videos that you saw on the wrap-up video in. In the bag, it's a nice straightforward bag. It has a pretty decent reservoir. I think it's 5 or 10 litres, this one. Honestly, I really don't know. And the logo part where it tells you what it was is kind of just, it's that white bit is kind of just gone. But Solomon, I love them. 4 years old, they've changed a lot, but this guy works super well and didn't really give me any issues, number one. What I wore on my, hang on a minute, on my feet was the Hoka Speed Goat. That's what it looks like from the bottom, and that's what it looks like from the top. First big race I've done in these, really enjoyed it. Obviously, in this race, there's quite a lot of river crossings. You're not gonna get a shoe that's super waterproof, Gore-Tex. Sometimes I took them off. Most of the time, towards the end of the race, I actually left them on. They work really well for me. They've got a load of grip on them. Life's good. With them, I put my socks. I have been using for a number of years Roque trail running socks. These are awesome, made out of recycled fishing nets. Never really caused me any issues. Of course, sometimes you get blisters, but you get blisters, you're running 100K, it's wet through, there's mud. You're probably gonna get some blisters. If you don't, let me know how you don't. For my shorts, I've been wearing for the last year or so these Adidas trail shorts. I really like them for a couple of reasons. One, they're super, super lightweight. Under them, I actually have a pair of Solomon undershorts, which are not here, irrelevant anyway. And at the back, they have loops for my poles. So super easy in, super easy out, never causes me any problem. Especially this course, I needed my poles, but there were sections where I just needed to tuck them away because I don't really like running with them in my hand. These shorts are really good. They're also good for training because they've got pockets through the waistband and a pocket at the back it'll fit a smaller phone, but it'll fit all sorts of nutrition. So they're my go-to trail running shorts, Adidas T-Rex, something like that. Talking of poles, Black Diamond, these are the guys. I use 130s, they're a lot taller, so a lot of the time you're supposed to have your elbow like that. Mine are a bit higher, I just feel that leverage works really well. They are carbon, very, very light, and sit nicely at the back of those shorts. What else was on there? Mandatory kit list. I actually took 2 pairs of gloves. Why? I have this really lightweight pair of gloves. Both of them are actually super lightweight, but because it was forecasted rain, I also have a pair of Solomon mitts, which are super cool. I never wore them because it really didn't rain. They rained a little bit at the end. They're super cool. They'll come back and then you can just put over the top when it's raining, and I could have worn these super warm gloves on top of them. Gloves were on the mandatory kit list. I wanted to make sure if it did get cold, I was warm, and if it did get wet, so 2 pairs of gloves. You could say a little bit of wasted weight. I was happy to go with it. Cap, nice and straightforward. Patagonia, run strong, works good forwards, backwards, any way around. I've run in it the whole time. I took with me, and I take to most races, a race belt. Number is mandatory. In this race, there was a chance that I was going to be putting my rain jacket on, taking it off the whole time. If your number is pinned to the front of your jersey, it's just an absolute ball ache. So get yourself a race belt. They're nice and light, and they just clip on around you, which is super, super straightforward. And you can wear them super loose. It'll never cause you any trouble. Lots of people wear them. Some people don't like them. Works really well for me. Head torch. This is my go-to. It works really well. Petzl, Actic, whatever you want, however you want to say it. 2 different options here for your battery. One, it has a rechargeable, and then I carry 3 AAA as my spares. You could get 2 of these rechargeable ones as well if you're a little bit more, well, I should be a little bit more cautious of the environment or conscious of the environment. I need to order one. But this one lasts for, on setting 2, it lasts for about 8 hours. It's got 3 settings, 1, 2, 3. High beam only lasts for about 2 hours. It's not really needed. And most of the time during a race, if it's not super technical and not super dark, I'll just use the low setting. That's what I use for UTMB as well. Works really, really well for me. What else have we got here? My watch, always Sunto, Peak 9, very light, had the course in it, works beautifully. Battery's fine for a 100K race, no stress at all. My top was this shirt. It's actually the first time I've raced in a shirt. This is the Silver Ridge shirt from Colombia, nicely branded with Inner Fight. Roll-up sleeves, which then button up, which is good as well. I used a shirt because it would keep my arms warmer when I want to roll it down, and actually it's super comfortable and dries, so when it did get wet, it dried really fast. First time I used it, I'll use it again. The jacket that I took with me, now this jacket is the Solomon, I think it's called Bonatti. I've had it for quite a few years now, and it works really well. I also have the waterproof trousers, exactly the same, and it's the same as the gloves as well. Super lightweight, as I said, it went really, really easy. It comes down into a ball, it actually folds into itself like loads of these things do, and you just stuff it into my hydration vest, worked really well. One thing to be careful of, if you are buying a jacket for a race, you need to, most of the time now, especially UTMB sanctioned races, you need to have what's called tape seams, which means that there's tape along the seams and it keeps the jacket waterproof for you. Lots of jackets aren't waterproof and don't have tape seams. There you go, random fact. But people do turn up with untaped seam jackets at check-in, and they could have paid 100 euros for it, and then they have to go and buy another jacket, which kind of sucks. Apart from that, a little bit on food. I had a bag of dates and nuts, which I just chew through throughout the day. I had a load of these, which is precision hydration. These are thousands, I had 1500s as well, and because it was actually quite humid down in South Africa, I made sure I was having those every sort of 2 hours. I would have one, yeah, I probably had about, maybe a little bit less than that, maybe about an hour and a half, probably had about 8 to 10 throughout the day. They work really well for me, they don't cause me any gut aches. I took a load of these bars, Eat Natural, different flavors, and then after that, I just sort of grazed off stuff that was at the checkpoints. Most of these races, you have a load of stuff at the checkpoints, so you don't need to load your hydration vest up with loads of weight and loads of stuff that you probably won't eat anyway, because you'll see some stuff at the checkpoint and you'll just ram it in. Hopefully that was helpful. That's the equipment. Ask me any questions. There will be no links. Slow it down a little bit and you'll get the gist of what I was talking about.